Cool. No need to be professional. You know what I'm saying? Podcast is like loose. You know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Method podcast. I am Chris, and I have a delightful treat for y'all today. I have a foodie, model, mama bear, and it says lifestyle lifestyle coach.
No, just lifestyle, like doing things, mainly adventuring.
Oh, adventuring.
Yeah, adventuring what now Hawaii has. And I was doing that earlier in like New York, like just lifestyle, like foodie adventures, going to like pop-ups or just supporting local businesses.
Man, hell yeah. She does all that. She does all that shit. I have Mary Jane on the motherfucking pod. Yay! Mary Jane. Hell yeah. Before we get this motherfucker going, single, married, or situationship, or not taken?
Married.
Happy married life?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, now we just actually recently celebrated our 12-year wedding anniversary.
Ooh, girl, 12 years. That's 10 plus 2. Yeah. For y'all don't know. And then another question is, how did I get the yes?
You know what? It was one of those things for myself. It's like, yeah, of course I'm going to support local businesses here.
Man, hell yeah.
Why not? And why not share my story and my journey? Because you just never know who's listening, and someone that if I can inspire or motivate someone or just relate to someone. Podcasts.
Ooh, okay.
I love podcasts, honestly, and that was something that I started listening to more so in New York.
New York.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah.
So I just, well, I would say podcast is one of those things that just kept me alive.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you doing in? You're originally from here, right?
I'm originally here, born and raised.
Okay. What brought your ass in New York? Cause it could get hot, it could get cold, it could get really cold. So what brought your ass out there?
Well, it was quite a journey, actually. So right out of graduation, high school, 17 years ago. Can you believe 17?
Yeah, some odd years. We'll say 5.
Right out of high school, I moved actually to Arizona.
Hey, Wildcat.
Well, myself, I'm like, I'm not a wild. You're Wildcat?
No. I just know the college teams. That's it. Arizona, man. Shout out to Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah. My husband actually went to ASU.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went to hygiene school there.
Oh, hygiene. Okay.
Dental hygiene school. Mm-hmm. And lived there for 9 years. And my husband actually got into medical school in New York City. So that's what brought me to New York.
Oh, shit. He got money.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
We just got done with residency. We got to do it. That's what I always tell people. Like, oh, your husband got money? I'm like, yo, like, he is like indentured servant. Like, he works so many hours. I swear he gets paid less than minimum wage. Now it's different, but back then, like going through school, hustling, it's the grind.
Oh, I could only imagine. And it's crazy that you said residency, right? Like a resident surgeon? like the doctor?
Residency.
Yeah.
Through the program, but that was pretty intense. And I was there, like, even just going, like, fast forwarding to that point of my life. He was in medical school, and I was the supportive wife. And I grinded it out there. Really?
Is the grind really that, like how people said it is? Yes, it is.
Really
fast-paced.
It's fast-paced, but there's so much energy. You get inspired too, right?
Word, yeah.
I feel like that is where I unleashed a lot of, like, independency for myself and pushed myself to do things that I never dreamt I'd ever do in my life.
Did you live in the city?
I did. I lived right in the heart.
That's cool.
Yeah, when we first arrived, we lived in Harlem.
Harlem.
Oh
my God.
Right next to the Apollo Theater. Yeah, 125th Street. But it was crazy. I absolutely loved living in Harlem. I think that what was great is because I'm a minority, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people up there are people of color.
Yeah.
So I felt like I still kind of like blended in to a degree.
Yeah.
But everyone was so nice. It's such a neighborhood up there.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you made it when you get invited to the barbecues.
Oh shit.
Yes.
So you got invited.
Of course.
Man,
of
hell
course.
yeah.
And when like people on the street recognize you and they're like,
Yeah.
hey, Mary Jane, yo, what's up? You
Yeah.
know? So it was definitely an eye opener. It was incredible. And then like a couple years later, then I moved down to Hell's Kitchen.
Ooh.
Yes.
I've watched a lot of movies mentioning that. How's that like?
Living in Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was the best. I
Word.
absolutely loved it. I feel like Hell's Kitchen is like one of those hidden gems or don't get really that much recognition because it's next to Times Square.
Yeah.
People think Times Square, no, get out of here, you know? But surprisingly, 1 or 2 avenues away is such a world of a difference. There's so much diversity. I mean, all of New York has, it's the world in, you know, one city, but Hell's Kitchen is, I feel like you have the young, but you also have families there now. When I left, there was like more families, which is great. A lot of restaurants. I literally would walk out my door. I'm like, what do I want to eat today? Peruvian, Thai, Mexican.
It's all in that
All,
pot.
like literally like in a block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool as hell.
I miss that so much.
Word. Oh my god. I've always wanted to like to travel, like stay there for a week.
Yes.
You know. How was your living condition like? Was it like an apartment like Friends or whatever, or was it how it shows in like in TV where it's all dingy and shit and your view of the street is like a brick wall? Is it like that? Was it like that or?
Let's see. Okay, so I did live in both types. I lived in Harlem. We lived in a walk-up. I think the building was like made in 1800s. We were on the 5th floor, but technically it was a 6. Like in Europe, how they number it from like A and then it go, or like the first level is actually the second because they go A and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It was such, again, an eye-opener once we arrived. We had actually rented out our space without even looking at it.
Oh, word.
Yeah, because everything happened so fast. My husband got accepted to a program there, and we had, I don't know, weeks to find a place. And looking for a place there is a beast. It's like different than anywhere else. You have to find a broker. It's rare that you can find a place without a broker. And even though you found that listing yourself online, you still got to pay the broker fee. Like, yeah. Sometimes some buildings will pay it for you, but, and those are like, I think 1 month's rent pretty much.
Okay.
The rent was insane. It was a lot because there was no central AC.
Ooh, so it would get hot/cold.
Yeah, and we moved in the summer.
Okay.
It was, and it stinks. It stinks. If you think about it, it's a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people. It stinks, and it's just so humid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I will say, oh man, it was so gross. The rat problem is real there.
How big are the rats?
Oh my god, like I've seen the biggest, like size of a cat.
God damn, we don't have a rat problem here on Y, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah,
No,
mice.
I mean, man,
Oh,
New York.
God.
It was crazy.
Uh-huh.
So living on the 6th floor, there was a point where we had like rats going up the pipe and little mice.
So you would hear that?
Yeah, you could hear it, and they were like chewing through the walls.
Shut up.
You would hear it like chewing through the walls.
Oh God.
And you would hear it at night. I'm like, oh my gosh! And I kept telling my what do you call it?
Landlord.
Landlord, yeah. Or the one that maintains the one that maintains the building.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way you live on the 6th floor. There's no way there's a rat chewing through your wall. I'm like, dude. I sent him a video. He's like, okay, yeah, you have a rat trying to get into your building, your apartment.
Your landlord, was he the typical like the Indian guy, or was he?
No, he was African.
White? Oh, really?
African, like from Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like he had the accent and everything.
Yeah,
Man,
accent and everything.
I love those motherfuckers, man.
I know, man. And they all love like their goat. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Like the food, so good out there.
Oh man, that's cool. What were the years that you're living out there?
So I was in Arizona from 2006 to 2015.
Okay.
And then New York 2015 to 2023.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna ask you, but like, how it was when Biggie got shot up and everything, or if you ever saw Diddy's the band walk that bridge, or if you're like, oh man,
I remember watching it on TV.
yeah. Have you ever seen like a recording or someone like doing any like TV shows out on the street or anything? Have you
all the time?
Yeah,
and it's
okay.
one of those things
How's that
where
shit like? Yeah.
it's crazy because he would block off the roads, the entire roads, and it's actually it was annoying, because we have to commute to work.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got there, I had to go get my ID at because I was teaching at NYU at the dental hygiene school there.
Oh, look at you, girl.
Yeah, try to be a jack of all trades here. Try to inspire
Jackie
everyone.
of all trades.
Jackie of all trades. I love that. And I remember like walking through Washington Square Park, and I look around, and everyone's dressed in 70s attire. And no one's making eye contact with you. And then I realized they're filming, and I just literally walked on set. No one said anything to me. That's normal. I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So that was
That's
normal.
cool.
Or
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I will say the dental office that I worked at there, we did cater to a lot of celebrities and high-end clientele. So
Did you meet any?
of course.
Who'd you meet?
I can't say it's HIPAA. I can say one because
Okay. Okay, who?
Lenny Kravitz.
Oh,
Yeah.
that man is beautiful.
He is.
Pause. No homo. That motherfucker is gorgeous, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy too. I mean, I'll say I didn't get starstruck with a lot of the celebrities that I've seen, or like politicians too that I've seen, but him, man, his aura.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel his presence.
Really?
Yeah, super nice guy too.
Any you don't have to mention names. Any assholes that you had to deal with?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was the most assholish thing that a person did? Oh, you know what? Just name one.
You know what?
What did he or she do?
Steal.
What, like a magazine or
No, oh my
like
gosh,
a chair?
I feel like that was also initiation for me. Like I can name you three things. I think my initiation to New York City.
Yeah.
When I first got there, when I was working at NYU, I had put my stuff in the locker. And I realized that locker was a little bit jammed, but I put my lock on it. I didn't think like someone was going to be able to get into it.
Yeah.
So I was done with my shift. All my stuff was gone. All my belongings. And that was like the first week. I didn't have like money to take the train. Thankfully, last minute, I decided to grab my phone to keep it with me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to contact anyone.
No fucking
Yeah.
way.
So I was like, oh, like, are you serious? So that's when I learned, okay, like, I have to get one of those, like, phone wallets, right? Because I always have my phone with me, and I learned to, like, keep a crossbody bag.
Yeah.
That's another thing. The second thing that happened to me, man, I'm so messed up. And so on my way to work, I had to take like the subway, then transfer to another subway, and then catch the express bus up.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hopped on the bus, and I was trying to give the bus driver my card to pay. I had an unlimited pass. And the guy just like waved me down. And I'm like, okay, whatever. We're trying to commute. If anyone asks me, I have an unlimited pass. I'm good. I'm gravy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in trouble. Tell me why when I get to the bus stop. And this is what they do over there. You get to the bus stop. Cops already waiting. Where's your receipt that you paid for the bus? And I was like, where do I get that? And I didn't know there were kiosks that you had to pay. I thought since it was unlimited, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like again, this is happening again. The guy, the cop that wrote me the ticket, he felt so bad, but he's like, I'm so sorry, I have to write this ticket. But my boss is right there, and he told me I have to give you a ticket.
Yeah.
He's like, but I'm gonna make a note here. You can go fight the, fight the ticket.
Yeah.
And they should be able to let you go. So I took time off, went to Brooklyn. Again, I was living in Harlem. Brooklyn. I went to, the court, and I explained to the gal, I didn't know I had a limited pass. And she's like, you not knowing about the rules here doesn't give you a pass.
Ooh.
So you're going to have to pay the $100 ticket.
For a bus?
A bus.
$100.
And mind you, the unlimited pass was already $120. And I just started working. I was like, oh my god, I hate New York.
Already. It's
Oh
like,
my
fuck this place.
fuck this, you know. And the third one is
Yeah, give me that third
oh
one.
my gosh. My husband went to meet me at the subway, and we're on our way back up. So he knew that we had a package waiting for us.
Yeah.
And as we were walking through the door, we see this guy. We haven't seen him in our building. Like, you kind of see, like,
The regulars.
Like, the regulars.
Yeah.
Right? And we have, like, 3 set of different stairs because there's 3 different buildings. And our set of stairs, the guy, like, he realized, my husband was like, oh, I think that guy took our package. So as we're walking up, we're like, well, let's see where he goes. And he just so happened to walk up our flight of stairs. And again, we lived on the top floor.
Yeah.
And above us is the roof. So we're like walking with our yellow Labrador, and we're like, what are we going to do? Because this guy thinks he's getting away.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously we were like, well, it's not a big deal. If he's going to take our package, like, our safety is more important.
Yeah.
But so we get up, and the guy obviously meets us at the top. And my husband was just like, yo, you have my package. He's like, no, I don't. He's like, I see it right there. And so he just kind of shoved it at us and, like, ran down the stairs. But I think it's because we had our dog. I noticed that a lot of people in New York, well, at least where we were living, are afraid of big dogs. Even if my dog was, like, the most friendliest dog ever. Yeah. So
shit. Well, thank you, dog.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you,
Kingston.
I know Kingston. That's
Yeah.
a great name.
Yeah.
How if you don't mind me asking, how aggressive are the guys out there, like, that try to
Ooh.
like that try to spit their game? Is it really
The
that?
cat calling?
Yeah. Is it really that bad? Or not bad, but
no, I
is
know what
it?
you're saying.
Yeah.
It could be.
Oh, word.
Could. I learned. I'm glad that you asked that, actually, because
Meow.
yeah, because I had to learn what to do.
Oh shit! There's a sequence of things that you have to do when shit like that pops.
Of
Okay.
course. And it's something I learned because, you know, coming from Hawaii, like, everyone's hi, like, hi, aloha. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey,
You
what's
get the
up,
head
how you
nod.
doing?
How's it? Yeah.
So it's like every time that I did that, people thought it was an invitation. I'm like, it's not an invitation. I'm just saying hi, you know, or like saying thank you. So I learned that, one, you cannot be too friendly. To a degree. Sometimes you could kind of feel like, all right, where is this going? You know?
Okay.
And 2, you can't be too bitchy either.
Oh, okay.
Because either way, they're going to harass you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of learned to just kind of be, like, monotone in how I respond. So if they're like, hey, Ma, how you doing? You look so beautiful. I'm like, thank you. Like, where I kind of just acknowledge.
But move on.
Yeah, move on.
Keep on
like,
moving.
That's it. Like, you know, don't say more. Don't, like, but acknowledge, because otherwise then the guy's going to be like, what? You think you're, like, what? Like, what, Ma? You think you're too good for me? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
And then they start following you.
Shut up.
Yeah. So you gotta, like, those are things that, man, the street smarts that I learned in New York.
Yeah.
You know? So that's one thing, is just, like, kind of responding in a way where it's, you address, you know, I know that you're there.
Yeah.
I am saying thank you, but that's it. You know? But the tone of the voice is what I've learned.
Really?
Yeah.
Bust out a tone.
No, like I said, it
Thank
was
you.
just like, yeah, just thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then you look them in the eye too, you know what I mean? Because, like, with the eye contact, because I think, like, with anything in general, I'm like, I do want to say thank you. That is a nice compliment.
Yeah,
I'm not just, you know, I'm taking it. But also just, you kind of gotta make sure that person knows that you're aware. Because I did get followed once.
Really? How did you notice this dude following you?
Ooh.
Was it like you went into Starbucks and you're like, oh, this motherfucker is, I just saw this fucker like 2 blocks.
Yeah, I was something like that. I just got off the subway. And you always got to be aware. Like, it's interesting because you got to be aware, but also act like you're not aware. You know what I mean? Like, I used to always have my headphones on, but I never listened to anything. I just had it on because I just was like,
yeah,
don't talk to me. You know, I'm just trying to get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm still watching.
Uh-huh.
You know, but yeah, no, I had this guy. He followed me. I realized he was following me because I was going to a new place in Brooklyn. I have never been there either, and so everything was still kind of new to me.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when we got off the subway together, that was the first time I saw him. And then I'm walking out, and I always just kind of like look my back, just to kind of look, and I realized he was following me like 2 blocks. But after the first block, I was like, okay, what are the chances that this guy is also going to the same place that I'm going to? I was actually going to a Tahitian dance class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he was trying to go to a Tahitian
you know
dance
what?
class.
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So then the things that you do, you know, I FaceTimed my sister. I was like, please, someone freaking answer. You know what I mean? But my sisters and my cousins knew, like, if I'm calling you, like, pick up.
Yeah.
You know, because I was in New York. I was by myself. My husband was never around because he was in, you know, deep in the books. And when I officially knew he was following me, I was like, all right. Thankfully, we finally got to a spot where there was a strip of stores. And I walk into the store, like, last minute, and he walks into the store too. And I was like, fuck. And then, so I just kept my distance. I went, like, I was walking along the perimeter, and then I stopped at one corner, and he also knew to keep his distance. And I looked at him, I made eye contact, and then just to kind of, like, again, validate where I'm at, or solidify where I'm at. And he, like, was following me in the entire store. And once I was able to get, and I was panicking. Yeah. And I was trying to keep my cool, because then you don't want to, like, make a scene either, you know. Not, at least not yet. Like, it's all strategy. And then thankfully I made my way around and to the front door, and I, like, oh my God, rushed out so fast, and he wasn't across the room. And then thankfully the studio that I was trying to get to was across the street. So I, like, ran. But I knew he was following me because, again, that the distance, you could feel, there's a vibe, like, you feel it. You know what I mean? And the way that he looked at me when we made that eye contact was, I get goosebumps even just thinking about that.
Do you remember, what was he wearing, like, something bright that you could see, like, that you saw at the corner of your eye, or was he wearing, like, all black and shit? Like, what made you notice him that's like, oh, he's following me for sure?
Well, because it was only him and I.
Oh, okay.
Like, no one else was walking the route that I was going.
Oh, okay. So there was like no one on the streets or on the sidewalks either?
No. And Brooklyn is a lot of warehouse. It's like random. It's like warehouses and homes. Like, kind of like Kaka'ako, you know, where, like, there's a lot of warehouses, but then it's mixed with, like, urban living, you know? So that's where we were at. But yeah, I mean, it was just him and I for a while, and that's when I was like, FaceTiming my sisters.
Did you have mace on you?
After that day, yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, when you're young and naive and you come from Hawaii, you don't think about that.
You don't. You really don't.
No, you don't think about that. So that was, and after that day, I always had something with me.
Mary Jane, I am glad that you are safe and here and alive and well. Goddamn.
Woo, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Another question. I was watching TikTok, and J-Lo said that she would get a ham and cheese at a bodega or whatever. So I'm gonna ask you now. You probably went into several bodegas.
Of course.
What is the Sammy that you order? Like, how would you say it?
Bacon, egg, and cheese. That is the staple there.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yes.
Have you gotten anything different?
Sometimes I'll get a bagel. But if I'm gonna get a bagel and I want a good one, I'll go to a real bagel shop.
A real bagel shop? What's a real bagel shop? Like, they make it fresh and shit?
Yeah, they make it fresh, and that's something, like, they specialize in. So, but I will say, like, the bagels and the pizza there is, like,
for real?
other. Yeah, and, you know, they always say it's the water. You know, it's the water.
What does that mean? What's
that? Because of the water that New York has, it makes it taste better.
Oh, no shit.
You know what's crazy? I had a patient. She was from New York, and then she moved to Australia. She started a New York pizza food truck, and she would, because she could, she would import New York City water to Australia.
Really?
To have that real authentic pizza.
That's dedication.
Pizza, right? Yeah, for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. What do you like? Oh, make it cry, watery, and all that bullshit. Like, do you say or do you hear that stuff too when other people are ordering their stuff too?
Oh,
Is it the way like the one like when you hear it on like the internet and shit? They're like, oh, I want it this way.
They do. There's some people that do have it, crazy, but or like whatever they like to have it. But like your staple is just like the simple bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh snap! Was it cheap out there? Like the food, like
in comparison to Hawaii, like oh man, it was expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you expect that.
Oh yeah.
Hawaii, it is expensive here too. Now I'm realizing, but yeah, it is. I feel like we do have more supplies there, more access to a lot of things because it's the mainland.
How is it in the winter out there in New York?
The past couple years, it wasn't that bad. I'm the girl. Even everyone thought I was crazy because they're like, "You're from Hawaii. Like, how could you want snow?" Like, I love the snow. There were times when I'd be treating patient like, I see it snowing outside. It just started to snow. Wait 1 second. I gotta go outside. Yeah. So I love the snow. I love the Four Seasons. People thought I was crazy.
You get all the Four Seasons out there in New York too?
Yeah.
Man, hell yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, all seasons are beautiful. I love the fall. I love the spring. Like all of it. Summer, I enjoy the summer. Everyone's out in the summertime.
Yeah.
The only thing about that, it stinks.
It stinks. Oh god.
Yeah.
I remember living in Washington. I experienced all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I liked it. Like when everything, like in the summer, everything's all green and shit, right? But then fall comes, you see all the orange now. I'm like, oh damn. And then November hits, you see that white snow, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, that winter. I will say though, like January, February, man, that seasonal depression does hit.
Really?
Yes.
What is that? What's the seasonal depression?
Well, like when you're cooped up inside, because in New York it's hard to go out when there's like snow outside or where it's super cold.
Oh, really?
I mean, we get like some wind there too. Not as bad as like Chicago places, but yeah, seasonal depression is real.
God. So you lived out there and then you moved back, right? Was there like a culture shock when you came back home and everything? Did you have an accent? And all that shit?
You know what it is? My family's or my mom, she's like, "You're always in a rush. Slow down."
Oh.
Slow down. But I was so like boom, 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 you know? So that is something I had, and I'm still having to like relearn or just slow down. Because, and also like, I won't say the customer service in New York is not the best, but at the same time, people get stuff done, and it drives me insane when when things are not done quickly, or like even simply like getting my coffee. I'm like, come on, let's go, what's the hold up here, And sometimes I have to remind myself we're not in New York anymore. I need to calm down, or like. People, and I like to start conversations, but when like my barista or someone's like trying to talk to me, and I'm like, why are you talking to me? I just need my coffee. Like,
I need a dip.
I gotta go, So those things I gotta remind myself sometimes.
Okay.
But I was in it for like 9 years. I was in that mode for 9 years.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Like being in the military, we're accustomed to hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
And then go.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from with all that. Oh, God.
And I think, too, like, the drive in New York City is, like, insane. Like, everyone is always doing something, you know, and you're always trying to keep up with the Joneses, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice coming back home, and it's like, all right, everyone just kind of chill. Like,
speaking of driving, the traffic.
Oh my God.
Well, let's holler about the traffic. Is it bad? Is it as bad as the TV portrays it, especially downtown with all the cabs and all that stuff? Is it bad, or compared to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Compare it to Hawaii.
Yes, but I will say it's kind of like one of those organized chaos, because everyone drives that way. You know what I mean? So it is crazy. You're waiting. Sometimes I'll be 1 mile away and I'm in traffic for 15 minutes or longer.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, I could have literally just walked.
Yeah.
It would have been, yeah.
You owned a car out there?
We did. Because my husband had to commute. He did a reverse commute. He worked in New Jersey. So So we needed a car for that.
Okay.
But I was in the city, so taking Ubers and cabs. Oh my gosh! Right before I left, actually, I got into a fight with a cab driver.
Was he Indian?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. This stereotype is real.
No, it's for real. Yeah, I mean, all those stereotypes are there for a reason, right? So, yeah, I it's funny. It wasn't my proudest moment, but at the same time, it was because I'm like, damn, I'm a New Yorker now.
Yeah.
Where I'm over there screaming, cussing out the cab driver because he tried to rip me off. And I called him out on his bullshit.
How did he try doing that?
I know my route. If there's anything, that's one of my hidden talents. I can go to a place anywhere in the world drive one time, and I'll remember that route.
Oh, I need that skill.
You know, I wish I could apply that to everything else in life.
Right?
To be honest. But yeah. So I knew the routes, how to get to work. It was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells me, I tell him what route I want you to take. And he then tries to proceed to tell me, no, I'm going to take this route because this is quicker. And I was like, okay. And sometimes a lot of you be like, oh, there's a block in the street or whatever. And sometimes you got to be firm with these taxi drivers because they will take you to the scenic route where they can run the meter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy decides to turn into the heart of Times Square. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told you what the route I want you to take. Now you're taking me straight into traffic. And then he's like, no, there's no traffic here. What happened? We were stuck in traffic. Like, I think I gave it like 3 minutes. And I was like, no, I'm getting out of here. I'm hopping into another cab. But he then proceeds to call me a bitch because I was calling him out on it.
Yeah.
And so we were just like cussing it out. And I was just like, fuck you, dude. Like, no, you were trying to rip me off. So I called him out on it. And I just like stormed out, and then I slammed the door.
Did you pay him?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, of course not. You know.
Were you at least almost near the spot that?
No,
you're going to? Oh.
I wasn't. So I was like, damn. So I ended up I had to run a block one way because a lot of places in New York are one ways. So
I see that.
So I had to run to the block to catch a cab. And to try to catch a cab in Manhattan, in Midtown, at rush hour is hard.
What's rush hour, like 12 to 1, 5 to 7 shit?
I would say like probably, like 7 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah. But the worst part would probably be about like 8 to 9, like that 1 hour. But yeah, I was so heated, but I was just like, man, I never ever done that in my life. But that guy took it out of me.
Oh, God damn. Let me ask you about the subways.
Yeah.
How, when you first got there, how did you was it like were you worried that you'd miss the subway, or did the subway always went to like the right spot?
The subway will do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
Like, no, I will say I lost weight when I first moved there because how many times did I catch the wrong train, not looking up, or catch the wrong direction? Like, have you been to New York?
Nah.
So there's things that you really gotta take a look at. It's like, are you headed to Manhattan, or are you headed to Brooklyn, or are you headed to Queens? Like, what direction are you going? Because depending on the platform, you're going north, south, east, or west. And if you don't pay attention to that, you're gonna go to a different borough. You're gonna go to a different part of town.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you went
all the time?
That's what's up. That's a great story.
Even after 9 years of living there, like sometimes I forget, you know.
Yeah.
But and it's crazy because like when I first moved there, Google apps, like the apps weren't really like up to par, and there was no Wi-Fi underground.
Okay.
So you really had to know the route, or like screenshot the route so that you know where your stops were. It had to be all calculated.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you had to learn. So, but now you know Google Maps and all that stuff like is easy.
Yeah.
And when I first got there, like no.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to navigate it myself.
So how was your first subway experience? Like you going through the gate, you have to pay a toll and everything. Is there like a fat lady that's there? You know, I mean, you know, I'm watching TV and shit.
No, yeah.
Is that shit real?
Yeah,
too?
it is real. But you know, I mean, that's someone at the booth, but right where you're at the turnstile. sometimes there's cops monitoring. You know, people hop that stuff all the time, but then, you know, you're lucky if you don't get caught or get ticketed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty real. I will say, like, how many times I've like ran, almost busted my head open because trying to run and catch the subway. I will say though, like, my first experience, I was still like super friendly. I mean, I'm still super friendly, MJ, but I got on the subway actually with my husband, and me being Miss Chatty Cathy. I talked to a guy that's in front of us, and I'm like, hey, we just moved to New York. Like, any advice, whatever. And he had just moved here too, and he was living up in Harlem. And I'm like, all right, we should hang out. We live in the same neighborhood, so like we exchanged numbers. Like, yeah, my husband's here, so he's like, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And like later, I tell my friend, one of my best friends. We grew up together here, been friends since 8th grade. But he was living there too. We moved at the same time. He was like, MJ, what the fuck were you thinking? You're exchanging numbers with a stranger on the subway. Why are you even talking to people? Why are you talking to strangers on the subway?
Oh, wow.
I was like,
why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
You know? But it was all like him teasing me. But, you know, it's one of those things that the subway, man, it makes the city go. And once it pauses, or if there's like some kind of accident, medical emergency, the holdup sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the whole, does like the whole city stop? Or like the whole system?
Yeah. It does.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a thing. Like, only in New York, there was this page that I follow. I think it's like Year NYC, and they're like, only in New York where people get pissed off. And I'm gonna sound so bad just saying this. Get mad at someone for jumping in front of a subway.
Oh.
Yeah, because then we're all late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I was like, oh man, but
does that happen a lot?
You know, I think like after COVID, it was becoming more and more prevalent.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I was there right when COVID happened.
Ooh, really?
Yep.
So was that whole place shut down?
Shut down. And I remember like walking in Times Square and it being completely empty, and the only people that were out were like the homeless. You know, that were out there. Some cops, and then. Too, like I said, thankfully we had a car, so we would drive down Fifth Avenue. You know, Fifth Avenue is like the famous street there where there's all the shoppings, the museums,
and all those billboards, right?
Billboards, all that.
Oh yeah.
Like, nothing, crickets.
Really?
It was insane to see New York in that way. Like, it was scary. It was so scary. But at the same time, like I feel like. New Yorkers that were there were also united in that way too, where you know, New York tough. You know, we had to, because people were. It was crazy time. I'm sure it was crazy times here, but you know, it was the epicenter.
Yeah.
At one point, and yeah, I mean, thankfully we were okay. We lived at that time in a high rise, so like it didn't feel like so bad, you know, because. We felt like we were just away from it all, you know.
Yeah.
But being cooped up in the apartment, I was living in a studio at that time. It was brutal.
You, your husband, and your dog.
Yeah.
During that time, did you find stuff about yourself that you didn't know? Like for me, when COVID happened, I found out that I'm not a good communicator. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, did you find anything? You know, find anything out about you, or you know, your hubs, like, damn, you actually dirty, low key, or you know.
My husband gives me crap all the time because he's the more tidier.
Okay. Shout out to your hub.
Yeah, I'm not bad, but he's more tidy. You know, thankfully, even though with all that that chaos and craziness happening, I felt like my husband and I bonded the most because I actually had time with him. You know, because he had to stop school. And he actually graduated early to help with COVID.
Oh, really?
He started residency in COVID, so he had a Zoom graduation, medical school graduation.
I've seen that, yeah.
But the thing that I feel like I learned about myself was how much I love to cook and how well I can cook.
Oh, word.
And bake. Actually, now that I think about it, so how I say, even though we weren't with people, I still connected with a lot of people.
Yeah,
I feel like with via the internet, that's what everyone was doing.
You called a lot,
yeah.
right? You Zoomed a lot of people, motherfuckers. FaceTime.
Yeah, people that you wouldn't even like, things that you wouldn't even do, like people you wouldn't call. So there was a group called Project Barcada. Shout out to my friends there. They started a foundation where they were delivering food to the healthcare workers during COVID times. And, everyone was cooking and baking. Well, I found a recipe, ube crinkle cookies. And so I made that, and I said, hey, I would like to donate some of these cookies to the healthcare workers.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a hit.
Hey, hell yeah.
So, but I will say through baking, I also found a group. I got in tune with my Filipino community more.
Oh, really? Out there? Is the Filipino community in New York, is it big? Or is
it is.
Really?
It's big. Yes. It's different than Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it's big. Yeah. I feel like there I felt more uplifting. I'm not saying that the people here, Filipinos here, are not uplifting and whatnot. I don't know if you have ever experienced this, and I've talked about this actually with another friend of mine. The Filipinos that I met in New York, super supportive, motivative, like all in, like, yeah, let's do this, or let's get together. Growing up here, it's always like comparison.
Really?
Yeah. Especially like growing up, it was like, oh, Ilocanos and Tagalogs. Like that
okay. Yeah, I do experience that. Yeah, I experienced that.
Which is crazy.
Especially on the basketball court, yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. In, what is it? Waipahu. Oh, well, here, yeah.
I'm like...
They're all separated. I'm like, come on, man. We're from the same island.
Yeah, but I think it's the whole mentality of like, oh, because you're from different parts of the country, we're better than you. Or because we speak this language, even though we're all Filipinos. Like, it's crazy to me. It's a lot of discrimination that at least growing up here, which is insane to me. So I feel like I didn't really I didn't really want to dive into my Filipino background, and it was only until New York that I really like honed in on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
Like, brought that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I would say that was like one of the most beautiful highlights of COVID that came out. From yeah.
Did you or your hubs ever caught the vid?
Yes, but like a year later, which is crazy because my husband was working in the trenches.
Yeah.
He'd never got it until a year later when my parents got like the new strain, and he got sick. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It was. Can you imagine too? Like, I was pregnant in 2021. No, 2022.
Okay.
So like the new strain was already there. So it was crazy, and like having to like give birth. I gave birth January 2022. Was
COVID still popping?
There was the different the vaccines were already out, and
Forget it.
yeah, I know. I feel like our mind just kind of like blocks it out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, 'cause it was such a traumatic. But yeah, trying to like being pregnant, going around the city, wearing the mask, like that was crazy times.
What do you think of people that still wearing the mask? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay,
cool. I feel like in other countries, they like in Asia, they wore masks before.
Yeah, they do.
Because they were polite or aware of like, oh, I don't want to spread my sickness to someone else. So it's like, well, duh, that makes sense, But also, you're talking to someone in dentistry. I've been used to wearing masks. Forever. So. Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. If that's what you feel like that's gonna make you feel comfortable, okay,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Let me ask you, what got you into like modeling, Foodie, this whole lifestyle thing, like
New York.
your little brand? Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay, you modeled out there in New York and you brought it out here in Hawaii?
I did, yeah.
Oh, nice. You had an agent and all that shit too?
No, I was freelancing for a little. I was freelancing when I was there.
So how does that work? A freelance, you just throw in your headshots and then they just holler at you?
Yeah, but it's also, I learned all connections, people you meet. Like, that's the crazy thing about New York. You don't know who you're meeting until you stop and have a conversation.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because everyone there, they like, I always say that even celebrities can freely take the subways and stuff because people won't harass them.
Really?
Yeah, it's rare that people will harass like celebrities.
That's
Not
crazy.
like in California, right?
Uh-huh.
Like paparazzis and stuff like
Yeah.
that. No, like you know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people just walk in the streets, and I was like, oh yeah, there's so and so. I saw Blake Lively shopping at IKEA.
Really?
Yes, and I didn't even realize it was her until like I literally looked up and I saw her, and I was like, she was standing in front of me the entire time.
Just a regular person, like
Yeah,
no
regular person.
bodyguard,
You
no.
know, that's why I was like, that's
Oh,
insane.
wow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, what were we saying?
Oh,
Sorry.
modeling.
Oh yeah. Oh my God,
I forgot
you were
too.
literally
So modeling. So
freelancing.
you were freelancing there,
Yeah.
and what you got recognition, you got a name, and then you brought it out here, and then it
Yeah,
popped
I
off?
mean, yeah. So I just again met some people in New York that gave me a shot, and I'm thankful for that. You
Yeah.
know, that saw the potential in me. Because even in the modeling industry, and I think as of over the past few years, it changed. It changed a lot.
Yeah.
I remember like when back in the day, like 17 years ago, when I like auditioned for a place in Arizona. I didn't even get a chance to like speak, but the guy was like already like, no. Why? Because I wasn't blonde, blue eyes. I wasn't like 5'7".
Yeah,
know
he
what
was
I mean?
short and brown.
Yeah, and I was Filipino. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I didn't have the right look. So that kind of after that, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And then once I was in New York, and one of my friends like introduced me to her friend, and she's like, hey, I'm headlining one of these brands, and I want you to come in and like take some photos,
Yeah.
you know, see how it goes. And that's where like at first it took me a while to like brand myself as like a model, because it was,
Yeah.
I saw myself as more of like a content creator,
Yeah.
just like, you know, not really like modeling. But I'm taking that all in now, because now I'm like, you know what, I did work my way up there. But yeah, I mean, you just meet some people and you have gigs. Honestly, I feel like I could have done more in New York.
Yeah.
I really could have. But that was me being like insecure and like imposter syndrome. But that's why when I came here, I was like, you know,
You started owning it when you got
yeah,
here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because I said, you know what? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, it took me a while to get here, because I will say too, like after giving birth, and I lost myself in postpartum depression and anxiety.
Ooh, postpartum is real. My wife went through that twice.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself, but I mean, I did a lot of shutting up.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah.
Oh, you know, I mean, that was great that you did that.
Yeah,
actually.
I know.
Yeah.
I would have got my ass whooped.
Yeah. You literally would have got killed. No.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah, so I will say like it took me 2 years to finally like get out of that funk, and now I feel good. You know, I feel good, and it took a while to get here. You know, and we went through that transition. I feel like once I left New York, I was like, all right, now it's a chance to reinvent myself again, or let's do things that you were passionate about before, or things that you didn't think that you could do, and do it.
Oh shit, I love that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think too, that was one thing that New York gifted me. It's like, I remember like getting there, arriving there, and one of the things that I did for myself was take the subway down to Times Square, because I was living in Harlem. Took it by myself, and I sat at the red steps in New York City, and I just remember looking out like, wow, this is a moment that no one knows me. Like, how amazing is that? Like, no one knows who I am, and I can be whoever I want to be. Yeah. So, and I took that, and Hawaii, obviously there are some people that know me, but they knew the 17-year-old me, you know?
That's crazy how you said that, because I was talking to one of my friends. She's singing now.
Yeah.
But when she goes back to our hometown, everyone knows her as, you know, goofy old, that 17-year-old that you were saying.
Yeah.
But now she's a singer. It's like, man, I knew her from back in the day. She's still the same old, but not anymore. Like, the brain frame is different. The ambition is different now.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just crazy that you brought that shit up.
Yeah, and it's true. I was asked recently, what would be the title of your life? And I thought, okay, what would be the title of my life if I had to write a book? Right? Yeah. I would see, for me, the first thing that came to mind is More Than One Life. Because I'm a mother, I model, I content create, I work as a dental hygienist, you know, like, so the stigma or like the mentality of like there's only one straight road. No, you can reinvent yourself as many times as you want, and you can do as many things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And why not try? Like, just try it.
Ain't nothing wrong with trying.
No, not at
You know
all.
what I'm saying?
I will say though, I have to like convince my parents sometimes. Like,
They wanted that nurse.
You know what I mean? The nurse, but also like the mentality for them. It's like, wait, what do you mean you're doing this? What? How are you doing that? Or
Yeah.
you know, or like for me, like when I moved back to Hawaii, like one of the things that I wanted to do was like do things that I never did growing up, which was surfing. I never surfed. I grew up here. I never surfed. Free diving, like that is one thing that I absolutely love, and I'm slowly getting into. So to my parents, like, why are you doing that? You're old already. Like, why are you learning that?
Yeah.
You know. So even though it's like breaking generational trauma too, or like having them switch the mind, where like, oh, okay, yeah, you can do it. Why not try it?
Yeah. Oh man. Speaking of free diving, I did that a couple times.
Yeah.
Bruh, oh my god, I had an anxiety because I mean you go down, you got the snorkel and shit. I panicked when I tasted my first water. You know when it goes down.
Yeah.
I was like, no, hey
Yeah.
motherfucker, take me out now. I'm finna to die. No. You know what I'm saying? Free diving, and then what was the other thing? Surfing. I boogie board.
Okay.
But I surfed back in California.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid out here because the waves are more crazier, and I guess they have like a set of rules out here.
That's what I'm learning.
So that's I'm not trying to fuck with that. So I was like,
There's
I'll stay in my boogie lane, man. Get my little board here. I'm straight.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let me ask you. So since it's graduation week,
Yeah.
what tips do you have for these upcoming graduates that are, let's say, getting off the rock for the very first time?
I will say you can do it. Travel.
Oh, definitely.
Travel.
I tell kids that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, because I feel like with traveling that gave me the whole confidence of like exploring everything. I think with New York, I met so many people in all walks of life, and I had the desire to learn more about their culture, where people came from, and that was the one thing that I'm like, you know what, I wish that I did that when I was coming out to that age.
Yeah.
Just travel. If you can't travel, you know, if I could live in another country, I would, you know, like Europe or anywhere in Asia.
So if the person had the opportunity to get off the rock, motherfucking do it.
Do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because Hawaii will always be here.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to, in order to grow, you got to see what's out there. You have to meet people, meet different cultures. How else are you going to grow as a person?
This is true.
You know?
This is true.
Because then we're like all one-sided, our vision is just like linear, you know? And if you can open your eyes to everything, you know, I think you'll be more empathetic to a lot of situation and people, and more respectful to situation and people as well.
How about the people that are in relationships, like their high school sweetheart? Should they break that off so they can travel, or should I don't know. I don't want to sound all bad, but I mean, stay back because they want to stay back. Should they be together?
What you're saying.
Yeah. What advice? You know, because you're grown now. What advice do you have for these youngins?
I think you're gonna be floored with this. So I've been with my husband for 22 years.
Okay.
We were
Respect.
middle school sweethearts.
Oh, really? So you you followed.
You know, I will say this because people ask me like, how the hell did you like last that long?
Yeah, exactly.
I will say it wasn't easy. Time just flew by. But I will say, like, if I tell my daughter, like, I'm screwed. If my daughter wants to date, how am I going to tell her when she's 14, you cannot date someone or have a boyfriend? I mean, that's when I was with my husband. You know, I will say what helped us is that we both had our own goals.
Yeah.
We had goals and vision of our lives, and we never took that away from each other. And I feel like we grew together but separately. You know what I mean? We have our own passions, desires, and we were there to support each other's goals, and that it worked out that way. But I think that when you can set your own path, and if that relationship makes sense, then I think that the trajectory can uphold and go the same route. But for people that are also like, high school sweethearts, I'm not, what should I say?
Yeah, how would you
That's
say?
hard, yeah, because it's like it's hard for me to say because I have the exact opposite experience.
Yeah.
But I get that. Like I feel like if the relationship doesn't serve you, or if that person is you feel like holding you back, then you gotta leave.
Ooh, okay. Last topic.
Yeah.
How does someone reject that other person gracefully? How would you attack that? It's like, all right, you know what, girl, ain't working out. I'm out. Peace.
Like me as a saying that to my friend.
Yeah, yeah. Like giving advice to like say your daughter's friend that's graduating. That's
Oh
like, you
my
know what? I can't stay with him because I want to do my own thing. He doesn't agree.
Yeah.
But I love him so much, MJ.
I'm like,
what
baby
should I say?
Baby girl, you
Yeah.
have the whole world in front of you.
Uh-huh.
Don't let someone stop you from your dreams for things that you want to experience.
There it is.
Yeah, unless
There
that
it is.
person is not on the same boat as you or
Uh-huh.
want to like go on that journey, then like peace out.
I mean, he'll still be here on the island.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They ain't gonna go nowhere, It's just oh man, yeah. No, you have to.
Yeah,
You
that's
have
real.
to. And I get it. When you're that young, you're just in love and
So
infatuated.
naive, though, yeah.
I mean, I got married, I think, again, like New York changed me. Well, I got married at 24 years old.
Mhm.
And to the rest of the country, like, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
I get to New York, everyone's like, what do you mean you're married? Like, I was 27 when I moved there. They're like, how are you married? Like, like, you're so young. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm young? I feel like I'm behind. I don't have a kid already. But to everyone that was just like, no, honey, you have the whole world in front of you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I think like if my daughter were ever to be in a relationship, like, okay, well, let's just assess the situation, but also like, don't let that person hold you back. If you want to go do something, you're in a position where you have to focus on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's you.
It is.
And I even tell my husband that, like, look, babe, I love you to death, but what I've learned over the years is you gotta look out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
True. Facts.
Yeah.
I got married late, so
Yeah.
I got married in my 30s, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
You got.
I had to get the shit out of me in 20. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through that.
Oh man, I'm
Because
thinking.
us guys are dumb. We dumb as hell.
It's all good. Okay, we mature faster. I feel like.
Oh yeah, we had a podcast on that. Women do mature faster. I agreed, and I was like, "Fuck, how? Why?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your chromosomes, man.
Yeah.
It's your XY chromosome. Mary Jane, that was fun.
Yes.
That was fun. Where can these lovely people and listeners find you at?
At Pineapple in the Big Apple.
Pineapple in the Big Apple. I love that.
Yeah.
Meow. You have any shout outs or anything before we dip out?
Do I have any shout outs? To my parents, I love you, mom and dad.
Inang tatang, yeah.
Nanang-
Nanang tatang.
And to my husband who's grinding it out, and to my baby girl, I love you so much, and I hope that you see what mommy's doing now so that I can inspire you 20 years from now.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
That was cute. The grit don't quit
Nope.
for the hubs.
Nope.
Well, shit, man. Shout out to KO Studios for the lovely home. Rafi Bite, thank you for the beat. And with that being said, I'm Chris.
And I'm Mary Jane.
Ooh, so seductive. And we out this bitch. Peace.
Peace.
How was it?
Oh my god, it was so good. I feel like I can talk to you forever. You started a podcast, to be honest. Not everyone can do that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, well, man, I do appreciate the compliment, man.
No, to keep a conversation going and for it to be authentic and genuine.
Yeah, it wasn't no corny bullshit. You know?
No.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm glad, because people, when I talk to people, they're like, oh, I'm afraid to come on because, they hear my content and they're it's all relationship shit, but I could switch it on and off by the feel of,
The conversation.
so yeah.
Well, see, and that's a gift. Not everyone can do that.
Man, you're lying.
No, I'm serious. You
My
know,
mom
you just
stop,
never
my
know.
mom.